Hi, I'm Laurie and welcome to The Patient is Always Right. This is where myself and Derek, Ignite CEO and founder, have unfiltered real talk with guests from the aesthetics, medical, dental and wellness industries. No fluff, just the truth about building a business, facing challenges and working with patients in a fast-moving, ever-changing industry. We're bringing you the highs, the lows and everything in between. If you want honest conversations and real stories behind the success, you're in the right place. Welcome back to The Patient is Always Right, the mini-sodes where we dissect real unfiltered reviews and give our hot take on whether the clinic or the patient are in the wrong. Our review today involves a harsh dose of Insta versus reality. We're joined today by our special guest, Holly. So Holly is our communications manager at Ignite, and Holly's been at Ignite for 3 years. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's exciting to be this side of the camera.
Yeah, I bet it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It is a bit weird.
Yeah. Breaking that fourth wall. Got it in there. Anyway, so, okay, today I'm going to read you a review. So as you know, we will pick real kind of reviews where we try and get some sort of learning from it, but also a review where we get a response because we love a response from the clinic. So you'll be able to decide who's right, who's wrong, and maybe give some advice around that. Okay, cool. So I'm going to dive in. So this one's from Trustpilot, and it says, so I booked with this clinic after months of following them on Instagram and seeing fantastic results and beautiful clinic spaces. I was genuinely excited and had high expectations. However, on arrival, my heart sank. The reception was packed, noisy, and felt disorganised, completely different from the calm, professional environment portrayed online. The treatment room itself was cramped, very basic, and felt nothing like the really and luxurious setting promised on social media. My treatment went ahead without any major issues, and the staff were nice enough, but the misleading portrayal of the clinic really ruined my experience for me. It felt like a bait and switch tactic, and honestly, if they'd been upfront and transparent about the real environment, I probably wouldn't have minded as much. Authenticity matters, especially when people trust you with their bodies and skin.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite intense there.
He's telling them off.
Proper. And then we've got a response from the clinic. Hi, Emily. Thank you very much for your honest feedback. We're truly sorry your experience didn't match your expectations based on our online presence. We tried to ensure our images represent our clinics accurately, but we understand your concern and will review our marketing materials to avoid misunderstanding in future. Please reach out to our clinic manager. We'd love to personally address your concerns and hopefully improve your experience with us moving forward. Warm regards, clinic name. So, I mean, the review was very honest. That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah. And I think the response was quite fair. What's your take on it?
So I think that the review really captures something that is really prevalent today with clinics, which is they've got to paint an accurate picture. Like, as the reviewer said, authenticity is key. And I think she obviously went there with these expectations and they weren't met. And she's really detailed why. But it is really interesting that she used social media as kind of social proof to go there, which shows how important social media is in terms of clinics and marketing and getting patients or clients to their clinic. It's just unfortunate that the kind of reality wasn't what she was expecting.
Yeah. And I do think a lot of clinics personally put weight on their website and not so much their socials. They kind of leave it neglected. And this is a prime example, I guess, of why you should think about every aspect of your business. You know, I would say it's your shop window.
Yeah.
Like, that is what people are looking at now.
It's 100%. I think in 2025, people are using social media over Google reviews now. People want to see what they're going to expect before they walk through the door. And so if the social media isn't up to scratch or isn't a realistic view of what they're going to expect, they're going to either be disappointed, not interested in going there, or their trust will be broken when they get there.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about the clinic's response. They seem apologetic about the concerns. Does that salvage anything?
I think it's probably a little too late at that point. I think their response was actually really great. I think they've kind of almost offered a solution. They were apologetic. They understood. They agreed. They said they'd review their marketing materials. Am I right? Yeah. So I think the response was really good from the clinic. I think they talked about the issues. They kind of validated her kind of doubts and problems. And they even offered a solution of kind of going over the marketing materials. I just think at that point, it doesn't really matter how good the services are. It doesn't matter how good the treatment is. She's walked through those doors of that clinic and is completely disappointed. and that trust has been broken. So I really doubt she'd return there again.
Yeah, and you can't really make up for someone's actual experience. It seems like the treatment was fine.
Exactly.
She seems to actually acknowledge that, but it was just the whole experience that's just, yeah. And obviously she's probably spending a lot of money.
Exactly. And I think it does make you doubt their expertise, because it's a bit like catfishing. If I was going to go on a dating app and I put pictures of Gigi Hadid there and then I went on dates, they're going to be severely disappointed when I show up and Gigi Hadid doesn't. And it's the same. You want to get what you're expecting to get when you walk through those doors.
That's actually a very good analogy, even though you are gorgeous. So don't ever take away from yourself, just saying. So what are the key takeaways from this review?
I think there are a couple of key takeaways, but the main one I would say is definitely the importance of a social strategy or a content strategy. This kind of review just proves how important social media is to get people through the doors of the clinic. Authenticity is also key. But I think clinics that aren't using any kind of content strategy are really missing a trick. Your competitors down the road might have half the expertise, but if they're posting the right content and it's looking great and getting clients in, they're going to be stealing your clients by doing that, despite the fact you may offer better services. So I think the really key thing is to ensure that, one, your social media is up to scratch. As you said, it's kind of the gateway. It's the first look that people will get into what their experience at their clinic will be like. And two, the authenticity, be realistic. What is their true experience going to be like?
So essentially it's not about having the most glamorous space. It's about having like your actual clinic represented and showcased.
Exactly. I think the main issue with this clinic was it was obviously using photos that they might have not have been their photos. They might have been enhanced pictures. But each clinic will have their USP. It might be that you're in a cozy clinic, the staff are really friendly. If that's the case, showcase that. Showcase that your clients are going to have like a really warm welcome. If you have a beautiful open treatment room, showcase that. It doesn't always have to be luxurious. It doesn't always have to be high end. Every clinic will have their USP, and I think they need to focus on that as opposed to trying to be like every other clinic.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's actually really good advice. And I think that probably makes people feel a bit better, because you don't have to be this high-end bougie Mayfair clinic. That's actually sometimes off-putting for people. Like you said, cozy, real, what's the word? Inviting.
Exactly.
That's what people want. So I guess the real question is, who was right? Was it the patient or was it the clinic?
I think the patient was definitely right. I think she brought up some really valid concerns, but the clinic handled it really well. And hopefully moving forward, they'll change their strategy a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice. And I think there's a lot to learn. Maybe they just need a lick of paint as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Holly. So now we want to hear from you. Was this clinic out of line, or was the patient just being dramatic? Head to our Instagram polls and cast your vote. And if you've ever had a crazy experience within a clinic, slide into our DMs. We might feature your story next time. Thanks so much. Love hearing the real stories behind the aesthetics, medical and dental industries? Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Patient Is Always Right for exclusive content. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to watch the full episodes on YouTube. Hit follow, subscribe, and stay tuned.